Happy Fry. Yay! Okay, today we are going to be talking about religion. And in religion, we are moving on to Good Friday. Now, we know Good Friday, as we've been talking about all week, is a day in Holy Week. Now, Holy Week is starting in 2 days from now. Today is Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be the first day of Holy Week. And Holy Week starts with Palm Sunday. We know that Jesus rides into the city of Jerusalem on a donkey, and all of the people all over the city, they're so excited and they're so happy because they've heard how wonderful he is, and they keep spreading the word and they're telling everyone, Jesus is coming, Jesus is coming. And they take all the leaves from the trees and they're waving the leaves and they're saying, oh, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. And they're so happy. And some of them are even laying their palm branches on the ground because they want Jesus to have a beautiful aisle to walk on, because they're so happy because they know that he is the Son of God. But there are some bad people around, and they know that there's too many people that love and listen to Jesus. So we know what's going to happen. But the followers of Jesus at this time do not. So after Palm Sunday, we talked about how yesterday, on Thursday, which will be happening this coming week, we talk about the day before Good Friday is Holy Thursday. And Jesus gathers with his disciples and he reminds them by washing their feet to always care for one another. No deed is too big, no deed is too small. Always love one another, right? And then after that, they celebrate and have the Last Supper. Now, Jesus knew this was going to be the Last Supper. His disciples, they didn't really fully understand what was going on. And during the Last Supper, Jesus had said, one of you is going to betray me tonight. Go do what you need to do. And we happen to know that Judas is the one that got up and left. So what we're going to find out now is that on Good Friday, in the middle of the night, in between Holy Thursday and Good Friday, Jesus gets taken. So that's what I'm going to read to you now. Okay. Jesus is arrested and crucified. Judas went to the leaders. He asked, "How much will you pay me if I help you capture Jesus?" They said, 30 pieces of silver. So Judas took the money and made a plan. Jesus had gone to his favorite garden to pray. The disciples went along. Jesus prayed, "Father, if it is your will, I am ready to give my life so that all the people who trust in me will be saved from their sins." So Jesus is praying in the middle of the night, and his disciples, they've started to fall asleep because it's really late. But Jesus, he knows what's coming, and he knows that it's the right time to talk to Jesus, to talk to God, to talk to his Father, to talk to God and say, God, I'm ready. I know that this must be done. Soon, Judas arrived with some soldiers. Peter wanted to protect Jesus, but Jesus said, "No, I must allow this to happen." And all the disciples ran away, and the soldiers arrested Jesus. They took Jesus to the leaders. We know what the leaders already thought of Jesus, right? And the leaders said, "You say that you are the Son of God. We do not believe you." Is it that they don't believe him, or that they don't want someone to be more powerful than they are? But does Jesus want power? The only thing that Jesus is telling the people is to be kind and to love one another. So here, this is what they're saying. When they're saying that we do not believe you're the Son of God, they're deciding that they're going to sentence him to death. They're saying, we don't want you around. We don't want people listening to you. And they're sentencing him to death. So the soldiers took charge of Jesus, and they made him carry a big wooden cross. They took him to a place called the Skull, or Golgotha. There is where they nailed Jesus to the cross. And then Jesus died on the cross. Everyone who loved Jesus was very sad, but they forgot something important. Jesus had said he would see them again soon. Now, even though Jesus had said they would see him again soon, it's hard to imagine what they must have felt like, right? What they know is that Jesus just died on the cross. And every Lenten season on Good Friday, the Catholic Church and we as a school, we always we commemorate Good Friday by going through the stations of the cross, or what happened to Jesus between when he was sentenced to death, when the leaders said, "You are going to die," and when he was laid in his tomb. And there are 14 stations. So I'm sending a book to mom and dads for you guys to make. And on Holy Thursday, our school is going to be putting up a video, and I believe the 5th and 6th graders are going to be acting out the stations of the cross. You may remember this from last year. We did it in the gym. And I'm going to tell you about what each thing happens during the stations of the cross, and why it's important that we always think about it, and what Jesus is teaching us, and how we want to remember Jesus in those stations. So on the first station is when Jesus is condemned to die. So think about how Jesus must have felt. It's hard to imagine how you stayed quiet when so many people wanted to hurt you, and so many people didn't want to believe and trust in you. So Jesus, please always be with me when I am afraid, and remind me to have trust and my faith in you and in God. The second station is when Jesus is given his cross. He's holding the cross, and we know that that cross is huge and so heavy. Jesus, that cross that you had to carry was so heavy, but you carried it bravely. Always give me the courage when I am faced with something difficult. So Jesus is walking with his cross, and because it's so heavy, the third station is when Jesus falls for the first time. The weight of the cross caused you to fall. Jesus, lift me up when I stumble and make mistakes. So Jesus is able to stand up, and as he's walking, he meets his mother. This is the fourth station. Jesus, you saw the sadness in your mother's face. Fill my heart with kindness when I see someone who's sad. Number 5 is when Simon, one of Jesus' disciples, he helps Jesus carry his cross. Jesus, having your friend Simon helping you must have been such a relief. Remind me to always help others when I can. Now the 6th station is when Veronica wipes the face of Jesus. Jesus was carrying this big heavy cross, and they had placed a crown of thorns on his head, and Jesus had some blood on his face. And Veronica is not a woman that Jesus had known before. So Jesus, did you expect a strange woman to come forward and clean your face? Show me small ways that I can go and bring comfort to others. Such a simple thing made such a huge difference to help us remember that no act of kindness is too little. Number 7, Jesus falls a second time. Once again, Jesus, you fell to the ground, and your friend, your disciple Simon, he came to help, and it was still a struggle for you to stand up. Give me the strength when I am tempted to give up, and remind me to give my friends strength when they are tempted to give up. Station number 8. Jesus meets a crowd of women from Jerusalem, and they're watching him carry his cross. And Jesus, in your anguish, you stopped to offer those women some encouragement because they were grieving for you. Help me to comfort others, even if I'm dealing with my own pain. Number 9, Jesus falls a third time. This fall must have been the hardest of all, Jesus. You were tired and in pain, and you still had a way to go. Jesus, inspire me when the way grows long and weary. Number 10, Jesus is stripped of his clothes. Jesus, how embarrassing it must have been for that to happen to you in front of a crowd of people. Remind me to always show respect to others. Number 11, Jesus is crucified on the cross. In the midst of your pain, Jesus, you forgave those who did this terrible thing to you. Grant me the courage to forgive others when they are the ones that hurt me. Number 12, Jesus dies on the cross. With a great sigh, you gave up your spirit. Show me how to surrender in small ways to give my life to you. Number 13, Jesus is taken down from the cross, and his mother Mary holds him. Jesus, give me the comfort when I lose someone or something that I love. And finally, number 14, Jesus is placed in the tomb. How dark and lonely it must have felt for you and for your friends and family that placed you in this tomb to walk away. They did not know of the great light that we now know, that a few days from now, that you will rise again. Remind me always that in the darkness of life, that your light, your love, is always there to give me strength. Now, this booklet that I gave you guys to remind yourselves of Good Friday, to remind yourselves of how wonderful Jesus is and the gift that he gave for us by sacrificing his life. Take your time, read it, understand it, and if you want to look at it while you're listening to Miss Egan read this to you, you can. It might be nice for you to also look at it when you're watching next week. Our school do the live Stations of the Cross. And the next time that you're in church, you might notice that around the church, you can see the different symbols for each of the different Stations of the Cross. I love you guys so much, and I hope that you feel the love of Jesus after hearing that, because I always do. Good Friday, I know it's called Good Friday, and it's a really, really sad and solemn day, which we know is what a lot of Lent is about. But we know of the greatness that will come in 3 days from now, right, on Easter. So give yourselves a big hug. Know that I and that Jesus love you, and have a great Friday, my boys.